first the lead story tonight, another view of this. Joining us from Los Angeles, Dr. Deborah Mandel, clinical psychologist and author of the book, Healing the Sensitive Heart. All right, where am I going wrong, Doctor?
Well, you know, you've said a number of things that are really very important, and it's very understandable that people would have a hard time accepting that just out of pure terror, this boy would have stayed with his abductor. And I know that you also said that you don't really believe in the Stockholm Syndrome, or certainly not in this case, but it actually does exist. And I've been practicing for over 20 years, and I've worked a lot with children who have been badly abused at home. I mean, severely abused. And even if you put them on the stand and ask them if they would prefer to go somewhere else, they will maintain loyalty to their parents.
Yeah, but you understand that's the biological family. That's the family that they were born into. This is a stranger, a guy who kidnaps or allegedly kidnaps Shawn. But look, we're not going to get to the bottom of this, but I will tell you, and I will make a prediction right here, right now on The Factor. There will be another headline in this case. Something will come to light. I'm not going to say that I'm right, but I know and I believe there'll be more to this story than we know. Now, the Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah. Dr. Dwayne Fuselier, I mentioned in Talking Points memo, special agent of the FBI, clinical psychologist, just like you are, says, quote, although a recognized phenomenon during the last 25 years, the Stockholm Syndrome has been overemphasized, overanalyzed, overpsychologized, and overpublicized. Those occasions where the Stockholm Syndrome actually occurs remain exceptions to the rule. In fact, most hostages do not identify or sympathize with the hostage taker, nor do they see the police as their adversaries. This is what the FBI believes. And I have to go by that, madam, because they're in charge, as you know, of kidnapping cases in the United States of America.
Certainly, but a lot of times a syndrome is put out and we hold the criteria so dear to us that it has to meet it perfectly. And a lot of times somebody may be a little bit sub-threshold from the syndrome so that you can have qualities like that. And if somebody has been terrorized and if somebody's been threatened that their family's going to be killed if they speak up or that they're going to be killed, they live in that state of terror and they will sometimes develop a very strong loyalty to their abductor.
I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible. It is not probable, and I deal with probability and evidence. Now, here's another thing that I object to. When this story broke, you had all these experts scurry out and immediately say Stockholm Syndrome. Okay, they don't know the boy, they don't know the circumstances, they don't know anything. Okay, they basically said it's got to be that, and I thought that was irresponsible. That was glib. Now, I know people are mad at me. I understand. I saw the letters. Okay, but I thought the other way was way too glib, way too casual. That's the word, way too casual, because I think here there's a lot in play that we don't know about yet. Because, again, I taught high school. I know these kids. I know how rebellious teenagers are. I know that they don't respond well to any kind of oppression. They don't. And this is the exact opposite of that. That this kid, he was actually riding in a police car with police officers. Come on.
Yes, but again, if the child has been brainwashed, if they're completely overwhelmed with terror, they're not going to be interested in breaking what they've been told. They're
do you know
very
how hard
afraid.
it is to brainwash somebody? Do you know how hard it is to do that?
We're talking about somebody who was 11 years old.
We're talking about a pizza parlor guy, okay?
An 11-year-old boy who does not have a mind that's the same as a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old. He's not well developed. He's immature. Clearly, he's 11 years old.
Let me ask you this.
He needs the person who's taking care of him.
Let me ask you this. Isn't there an attraction to a teenager or an adolescent who maybe is unhappy, maladjusted? I'm not saying that just Shawn was. I don't know him. I have no idea. But I'm just talking theoretically now because I have to in this case. And somebody says, hey, you know, kid, you don't have to go to school. I'll give you a truck. You can have this, that, and the other thing. You can have everything you want to have. All right? No responsibilities. What is the lure of that, in your opinion? What is the lure of that kind of a lifestyle to an adolescent? As you said, a mind that's not fully developed, very impressionable.
First of all, okay, young children will often fantasize about leaving home, running away from home. Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, great example of a fairy tale, a story, a fantasy tale of the excitement and allure of being out of one's home and having total freedom. But the reality is that this is a real boy who had a real family and people who cared about him. And so he's not going to just throw that away. That is not a likely scenario in any way.
That's what I say.
So he's not likely to throw that away. So in other words, there's got to be something else, as you're saying.
And I think there is something else, but I don't think it's what you think it is.
Well, it's possible that this boy was molested. There's all kinds of reasons.
There's all kinds of things in play. But I think it's too glib and too easy to say Stockholm Syndrome, bang, 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 that's what happened. Well, I don't think that's what happened.
I'm not clearly I am not diagnosing this boy because I've never met him, so I don't know either. But it's very possible. I have worked with people who have been chronically molested and abused and terrorized, even people who were part of cults. And the reality is that when they have loving, caring people around them, they don't just throw that away. That's not what they do. So whether it's Stockholm Syndrome, whether it's post-traumatic stress disorder, whether it's some other reality that's going on for this boy, he is most likely a very traumatized child who's going to have a lot of things to deal with. And I don't think that he was just falling into the trap of being happy to be away from home.
Doctor, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope you're right. I hope that this is something that's explainable, because American parents and children need to know what happened there. They need to know. It's very important. I hope that I'm wrong. Thanks, Doctor. We appreciate it.